Coming up on Network Africa. Several people dead in the Democratic Republic of Congo after ADF rebels violently attacked North Kivu province. Governor of Kwara State in north-central Nigeria visits Kayama community where dozens were killed earlier this week. Plus, Moroccan security forces carry out evacuations as floods hit several provinces in the northern region. Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Joke Rogers here in Lagos. We begin in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where at least 10 people have been killed and around 77 homes burnt in violent attacks attributed to the Allied Democratic Forces armed group in the North Kivu's Beni territory. Footage shows charred remains of the burnt homes. Meanwhile, residents mourned as soldiers collected the bodies of the deceased from a local morgue. They're accusing the government of neglect, claiming that authorities left the northern region vulnerable by concentrating security efforts on the M23 conflict further south. At least 6 civilians were reportedly killed when militants stormed the village, burning down cocoa stores, personal granaries and homes, leaving many families homeless and stripped of their seasonal livelihoods. In Nigeria, the governor of Kwara State in north-central part of the country has visited Woro community in Kayama local government area, where 75 people were killed earlier this week. Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak inspected the damaged infrastructure where some of the properties were still seen burning. He describes the attack as horrific, condemning the perpetrators for taking advantage of soft targets.
It's not the metaphorical stone-throw journey. It took the governor and his entourage 6 hours to get to Kayama local government in Kwara State. It was dark when they arrived, even as the Emir of Kayama shed light on the dastardly attack by terrorists.
Very unfortunate that we lost a very large number of people. I think this one of the largest massacre in Nigeria at the same time, if I can remember. But our count at Sibika in the morning, 75 people were identified and given mass barrier. This excludes the Christians who are taken away, the Yorubas who are taken away, and some corpses are seen in the bush, but are not yet. So the figures is likely to go up. If you go to war now, they say, go sit down, everybody has deserted the whole place. All like this and yesterday, it was just like a war, not a killing, the massacre, because it's only one side that was killing. We lost a large number of people, and a lot of people have been kidnapped, mostly women and children, taken to the bush. To know for what purpose. They gave us a notice that they are coming to preach, and nobody objected to it, only to find out that they, instead of coming to preach, they are coming to massacre. We believe that this solution can be minimized, and that if we have a military basis, let's say FOB, probably one Woro or that exit, Nanu and all the rest. These people are at the edge of the national park, very large and more than Zimbabwe, the one in Borno State. And it's very porous, very empty, and habitat food. But they want a consolidated and comprehensive military outfit involving Kwara and Niger that can output them. They have actually taken over the whole country. And unfortunately, some of our boys, some of our people from the Bogu area, they've joined them now in the system, and it's making it very difficult to monitor. They are the informants, they are the participants, they are the everything else.
The chairman of Kayama local government area has a gory tale to tell, a horror story of killing, abduction, and a chronicle of despair.
I'm a medical personnel. I have never seen corpse like that in my life. To count up to 75 corpses that we saw, aside those that got burnt, unidentified. as we speak, there are still corpses in the bush because they are ambushing them. They ambush them in the village. This is the village head, sir, Your Excellency. As they came to Oro, they went to his house straight. It means we have bad eggs among us who are giving the information about our communities. They got there, they asked for key of his cars, they vandalized his 2 vehicles, they burnt his house. His kids, there's a girl, his firstborn is a male, the sister, the second-born is a woman. The 2 of them just finished medical schools. And of course, they brought them out and killed the 2 of them.
The governor and his team then proceeded to Woro community for another 2-hour journey, where the incident occurred for an on-the-spot assessment. Visible signs of the mayhem stare you in the face. Some of the structures are still burning.
Pure madness. May the soul of the departed rest in peace. We can see issues of ideology, religious ideology. The citizens here resisting the sort of ideology that is alien to them. 75 have been buried, and we're short of words. But we thank the security agencies for their work. Also commend the president for deploying the troops. A new battalion coming in here, a new operation, Savannah Shield, will take over from the southern axis of the Operation Fasanyama. So things will certainly get better here.
Many members of the community have been abducted, while the search for more bodies is still ongoing.
In Morocco, more than 50,000 people have been evacuated from their homes in the northern region due to severe weather and heavy rainfall affecting several provinces. The Interior Ministry says the evacuations began on Friday, mostly in where the city of Qasr al-Kabir lies, about 100 kilometers south of Tangier, has seen significant flooding. According to the ministry, evacuees were still taken in by relatives elsewhere, while those requiring assistance were sent to temporary shelters set up by the authorities. Morocco's National Weather Service forecast heavy rains, strong winds and snowfall at altitudes above 1,500 meters from Monday to Wednesday in several provinces. Authorities say the Moroccan army had been deployed to support relief efforts on the instructions of King Mohammed. Thousands of delegates have gathered at the Kigali Convention Center, which is hosting the 20th edition of the National Umushiki Rano Council. Opening the national dialogue, President Paul Kagame delivered a stern warning to government institutions and public officials responsible for stalled and delayed development projects in the country, saying mismanagement and indifference, especially when workers are left unpaid, should never have been and will no longer be tolerated. Mr. Kagame placed accountability and delivery at the center of his message, calling on leaders to take direct responsibility for public resources entrusted to them. The 2-day annual forum brings together citizens, public officials, private sector actors, and members of the Rwandan diaspora to review progress under the second national strategy for transformation, confront persistent challenges, and openly shape national priorities. Well, we have our correspondent Dele Omoyeni attending the event in Kigali. Dele, it's great to see you today.
Great to see you, Peter. Okay. Good
Right.
afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon. So you're at the Kigali Convention Center for the 20th National Council Dialogue. Why does this dialogue remain such a critical platform for governance and citizen engagement in Rwanda?
All right. Yes. Well, key among it is one of the major things that you mentioned in your intro. The president, Paul Kagame, was very instructive. He says accountability is the key. Of course, you understand that this dialogue brings together major stakeholders, from the president who leads the park, members of his cabinet, the parliament, Rwandans in the diaspora, civil society organizations, and even the media. So what happens is that Rwandans from across the country and across the diaspora have the ability to ask their leaders questions on certain government policies that have been dispatched in their areas. And of course, they get clarity on these issues. You've had situations whereby if those ministers can't, talk to these issues particularly, the president comes down hard on them. So he says that government is public trust. So the president is ensuring that citizens can engage government personally and be accountable for the policies of government. So that's why he says this is continuous. And this, as you know, is the 20th edition. Therefore.
Right, and President Kagame issued a stern warning to public officials over stalled project mismanagement as well as unpaid workers. How significant was this message, and who was it really aimed at?
Okay, so funny enough, he did make an example actually. He said, he mentioned the mayor of Kigali, but again, he doubled back and said, well, he's not particularly addressing the mayor of Kigali, but he's saying that generally, that government officials have to be accountable to the people. Now, he says he understands that in implementing government policy, there could be challenges here and there. But one thing is key, that the government agency in charge or the people in charge of those projects must understand that they have to carry the people along. If there are challenges, that's not making them deliver this project on time, is to make the people understand why. And more importantly, is to try to solve those problems, because governance is about solving problems as well. So it's important that the president made the point to ensure that his cabinet ministers, heads of MDs, who were all present here, understand that the people will hold them accountable. And of course, this is the democracy. And so every Rwandan across the world has the ability, has the right to ask for questions on issues that, whether on their welfare. I'll give you an example. Right here, the Minister of Agriculture was asked questions from a particular province. And of course, apparently he couldn't answer some of the questions. And the president put him on the spot and said, look, you can't keep giving excuses. It's important that if government policies are not followed through, then there's a big problem. Of course, you have to hold the people to whatever they say they will also give to government as well. So if people are not cooperating, or if you are not cooperating, let's know what the issues are so that we can tackle them. Okay.
Right, and after this two-day national dialogue, I'm sure the president spoke a lot about to a lot of things that citizens should expect. So what tangible actions did he or other officials say that Rwandans should expect, from this 20th edition of the dialogue, or after it?
Okay, so yeah, right. So very importantly, this question is very important. Now, the president were very adamant that, for Africa to come out of the doldrums and really be independent and sovereign, it's important that Africa is able to feed its people and make its people prosperous. And that's why he's investing so much in small and medium-scale businesses. And he says that will continue in the coming year, because he says that it's important that Rwandans can reap the benefits of democracy in the sense that they can be economically empowered. Now, if you look at Rwanda, about over 1,000 Rwandans have a net worth of about 1 million plus, and that's a lot for a population of about 14 million people. So that's the strategy for them, and they're not resting on their oars. They want to keep empowering young Rwandans, because empowering your citizens is the only way to be able to ensure that you stand on your feet as a nation instead of waiting for handouts from foreign powers or from neighbors. So the key takeaway from this particular economy is that government wants to continue to empower small and medium-scale businesses, because it says this is the only way to guarantee sustained and incremental prosperity for Rwandans.
Right, and from a continental perspective, Dilly, Rwanda is often highlighted for its governance approach. Are there lessons that other African countries can draw from?
quite a number of lessons. Quite a number of lessons. Key among them is, first of all, accountability. Government has to be accountable to the people who put them in power. But much more important, which is a big takeaway here, is the issue of follow through. Okay, now a lot of presidents, a lot of governors, a lot of mayors in the provinces give their subordinates instructions, roll out policies, but at the end of the day, most of the time they're not able to follow through. So one thing about Umesh Kano is that the president is able to follow up in real time government policies. Why? Because a citizen can ask a question from a province. I give you an instance. The last time we were here 2 years ago, a woman from a particular province, of course, East Central Africa is big on growing coffee. So Rwanda has a program for women who grow coffee. Now, there was a particular program of government that dealt with giving them support in a particular province. And it was like that policy wasn't quite coherent. And so that woman came on the program and she asked the Minister of Agriculture questions and he couldn't answer. So it gave the president the platform to follow through on that government policy to say, well, look, it's not enough for us to say we roll out the drums, roll out policies, but we can also in real time follow through on those policies. Many times, subordinates come to you and say, oh, Mr. President, we've done that policy, we've done this, we've done that, because the president has a lot on his plate. So most times they may not be able to follow through. But platforms like this give the president the ability to follow through on his policies and his instructions to his subordinates. And lastly, one key takeaway is that in the issue of governance, Rwanda is big on ensuring that young people are a part of the system. For instance, I should say that the MC for today's event is a 35-year-old lady who is now the Deputy Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission. So you see that there's a deliberate attempt to ensuring that the young people are brought into the roles of leadership in their country. So these three things are quite important.
Right. I must thank you again, Dele. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
And still to come on the program. Gambian tourism chief scoops Best Minister Award at the World Government Summit in Dubai. Stay with us. Welcome back. Somaliland's Foreign Minister Abdurrahman Dahir Adam is calling on the world to do the right thing and recognize the breakaway region. Speaking on the sidelines of the World Government Summit in Dubai, Mr. Adams says Somaliland has every right to be recognized, and there's no law in the book that prevents any country from recognizing Somaliland. Israel became the first UN country to officially recognize the country back in December. It saw condemnation from some in the region, including Somalia, which called it illegal aggression, as well as Egypt and Turkey. It's the last day of the World Government Summit 2026 that has brought together over 6,000 people, including more than 35 heads of state and government, over 150 government delegations, and more than 20 heads of international and regional organizations.
Israel has recognized Somaliland. Israel has done the right thing. Somaliland deserves to be recognized. And the rest of the world needs to follow the footsteps of Israel. Somaliland has every right to be recognized. Somaliland was a country. It was get their independence in June 26, 1960 from Britain. They voluntarily joined their brothers on the south. However, that did not work. So now Somaliland claimed their sovereignty in 1960. There is no law on the book that prevents for any country not to recognize Somaliland. So each country needs to look Somaliland case very seriously. Anybody who spent a time to look at Somaliland case will find out that Somaliland is a country and need to be recognized. There is no reason for any country not to recognize Somaliland. So it's the time for the world to do the right thing and recognize Somaliland.
Elsewhere now, as the world marks the 2026 World Cancer Day with the theme, United by Unique in Nigeria, the challenge is particularly severe. Health authorities warn that the country's high cancer mortality rate is largely linked to late presentation and poor access to screening services. Cancer is not a single disease, but a group of illnesses that can affect almost any part of the body. It remains one of the world's leading causes of death. The World Health Organization says cancer claimed nearly 10 million lives in 2020 alone. Globally, the most commonly diagnosed cancers include breast cancer, lung cancer, colorectal cancer, prostate cancer, non-melanoma skin cancer, and stomach cancer. In Nigeria, the situation is even more concerning. The National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment reports a 51% cancer mortality rate, underscoring the urgent need for awareness, prevention, and early detection. It's against this backdrop that the Lagos State Ministry of Health is marking the 2026 World Cancer Day, taking cancer awareness directly to the public.
We're encouraging everyone out there to please come, civil servants, male and female, to please come to Folari Koka Staff Clinic and have their breast cancer screening done, cervical cancer screening done, and prostate cancer screening done. This is very, very important. Prevention is indeed better than cure.
Don't be scared. We're here to hold your hands and walk through with the process through you as is required.
As part of the awareness campaign, the team, led by the State Special Advisor on Health and senior government officials, move around the Lagos State Secretariat in Alausa Ikeja, educating workers on breast, prostate, and cervical cancers. The Gambian Minister of Tourism and Culture, Abdoulaye Jobe, has been awarded the title of the world's best minister for 2026 by ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, during the World Government Summit on Wednesday. The World's Best Minister Award is presented annually at the summit to honor ministers who have achieved tangible results and made a positive impact on their communities through innovation and excellence in government work. Mr. Jobe expressed his joy at being chosen for the award, saying it's rewarding, and that's one thing he will cherish for a very long time.
Being here at this World Government Summit and being awarded the best minister, it's by the Prime Minister and the ruler of Dubai, is something that is new. It is exciting. It is rewarding, and that's one thing that I will cherish for a very long time, having been recognized, which provides visibility to me personally and our destination, the Gambia, the smiling coast of Africa. And this is an excellent forum, summit where we interact with governments, private sector, the media, to provide visibility for what we do.
And as we end the program, here's a fun fact about Africa. Did you know that Namibia is a unique southern African nation, often recognized as the second least densely populated country in the world? It's home to the world's oldest desert, the largest free-roaming cheetah population, and it's the first country globally to incorporate environmental protection directly into its constitution. That's our program today. Thank you for watching. I'm Joke Rogers.